Hi camera fans, it's Michael from Fujifilm here. So of course we have different levels of activity throughout the course of any day between waking up and then going back to bed again. You have your normal 9 to 5 existence, which is whatever you do as part of your normal job and having lunch and going to the grocery and stuff like that. Then you might have a workout time where you will work out different parts of your body, pushing them harder, burning more calories, but you'll do like your legs, you'll do your upper body, maybe you'll work your core. All of that is sort of separate. Or you can be a really serious athlete or even a pro and say something like track and field, where you'll go and you'll do sprints, could be 400 meters, 100 meters, right? You're just running real fast. Could be hurdles where you're running really fast and you're jumping at the same time, so you're putting different muscle groups into work there. Or say maybe you're a pole vaulter where you run really fast and then you have to use your upper body to pull yourself up over the bar. So in our cameras, both the X series and the GFX series, we have power management settings that are kind of similar to prioritizing different muscle groups and levels of exertion. Now, the one thing in common with power management in all of the cameras is you will find that in the menu under the wrench, there is a dedicated line item there called power management. And you go to the right and then you'll be presented with different options. One of the things, of course, is the auto power off altogether. Now what that does is that will shut down your camera. So you can set how long a period of time that will be. So if there's no activity on the camera, if you're not focusing, you're not shooting, you're not playing back, the camera actually completely powers down. And you have to turn the camera switch off and then turn it back on again to bring it back to life. That's what the auto power off does. But I want to address a common condition that with some of our newer cameras many people run into. And I've got an XT4 here, for example, that I'm going to use to describe that with. So a lot of times people will be holding their camera, they'll be getting ready to take a picture, and they'll put it up, they'll look at the LCD or in the viewfinder, and the picture will be really dim. And on top of that, when you try to move the camera and pan with it, you'll see the picture is very laggy and stuttery. Why is that? Well, it's doing something that you told the camera to do, and that is going to be when you have the camera in economy mode. So when it's in economy mode, it's trying to save energy. It's trying to burn less calories. It's basically like you sitting on the couch at the end of the day, just sitting back and watching a sitcom, okay? Not doing much. So to get it out of that, first of all you need to do is touch the shutter button or put the camera into normal performance mode, and it won't do that anymore. Now, I started with the T4, for example, because the T series and the XH, they have the additional battery grips you can put on here that have a dedicated power management switch. If you have a battery grip attached to any of those cameras, you must use that switch to change those settings. You can't go into the menu and make those changes. You'll see that they're actually grayed out. Those settings do become active in the menu if you take the battery grip off, so just be aware of that. Now, a lot of our other cameras, of course, don't have battery grips available, and in some cameras you might find 3 different levels of power management, and some you might only find 2. The GFX50 cameras, actually I'll get to, don't even have a boost mode, but I'll get to the GFX in a moment. So when you go into boost mode, this is like you going out to the track, okay, to do a really serious workout. And what the boost mode options are trade-offs between one thing or another. Okay, so which particular activity is more important to you than the other? So if we start with the EVF frame rate mode, that basically is going to put more power into refreshing your EVF screen time to give you a higher frame rate. So that gives you less blackout and it gives you a crisper, sharper picture as you're moving the camera around. It prioritizes the refresh rate on the viewfinder to minimize the amount of lag and flicker. If you choose, say, the autofocus priority mode, what that does is a similar thing, but instead of giving a higher refresh rate to the viewfinder, it does a higher refresh rate to the autofocus system, and it ups the sample rate. So when the camera is hunting all those autofocus points that are on the sensor, it's doing it at a faster rate to look for moving objects, to acquire those a bit quicker. So that's what you're doing. You're shunting the power to give it a different priority. Now, I'm going to talk about the GFX systems for a minute because they're a little bit different. So the 50S and the 50R don't have boost, but they do have something else. They do have a shooting standby mode, which is different than the auto power off. The standby mode actually puts the camera to sleep. So all you need to do to wake it up is touch a button on the camera and it will come back. So it does not shut off. You don't have to use the on-off switch to cycle it. You just have to tap the shutter button. The camera wakes back up and you can choose how long you want that to wait. But they do have a auto power save function. And the auto power save, when you turn that on, it's not the same as sleep. That actually is the thing that will dim your screen. So with the GFX50S and the GFX50R and the GFX100, if you turn on the auto power save, this will dim your screen after 15 seconds. Now the GFX100 actually has 4 different choices of power management because that being sort of our super top-end camera, so that gives you more choices, more things to work with. All right, I hope that's been helpful. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.